So you represent a lot of listings, obviously, and you got a team of buyers agents. When you put a property on the market, now that inventory is up, is that adjusted what you're doing as you go about?
It does. It means, again, that you might need to put a little bit more marketing power to get as many buyers as you can, because there's a lot more
open houses.
Are
you still upsetting agents?
We still are, and the city. But nonetheless, you have to do more marketing for a property because there's more properties vying for a buyer's attention. So what we've done is, one of the things that you mentioned it earlier, that's most important to homes. What do you always say? What do people always say? Location, 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 right? And every property has their own unique location, even within a subset area or zip code. So one of the things that we've been trying to highlight is focusing on the location of the property and marketing it. Things like...
so I mean, as we're talking here, here's some aerial footage that you provided to us. This is of Carmel Valley.
Right. These are some
in
homes.
Itself is great location.
Right.
Right.
So, every location might have a unique factor. It could be on a cul-de-sac. It could be on a corner lot. It could be at the top of a hill on a bluff. It could be, having views of the ocean. But there's a lot of topography and location that makes a home a little bit more valuable than maybe the one next door.
Right, so these are would you say the top 4 things?
A couple of them, yes.
Okay.
And so these are things that you cannot really gain perspective of from foot level photography, right, I say. If you're taking photos from the street level with 2 feet, it's really hard to get a grasp of those things. So one of the things that we've been focusing on is marketing properties and taking the marketing to a whole new level, literally by that. And what I mean by that is aerial shots.
Right.
And we were showing some of those earlier and really encompassing a lot of the aerial aspects or photography and video to show the unique features of the property, to give people a perspective of the value.
So I imagine that opens some people's eyes. What are you seeing as a reaction to some of these videos that you're creating? I mean, here's some more footage where we're flying over the coast. I want to remind people this is you creating this footage on behalf of your sellers. It's important that people understand this was provided from your team. But what are some of the things that people identify and they say, wow, I didn't even realize that wasn't this is not the property I want, or vice versa?
We've always done videos within the home, but now we're trying to incorporate the surrounding areas and really give people perception to show, look, this property, how close it really is to the ocean. Before, you could never get that type of photography or video on a property, and we're able to do this is by bringing in drones or helicopters to acquire this footage. And so what it's resulted in is this. Literally, I had a multi-million-dollar property that was on the market. Within the first week, we received a full-priced offer from an anonymous buyer. Now, what we found out is that this buyer buys properties all over the state of California. He does so anonymously for specific reasons. And one of the things that they made mention was that they will never buy a property that doesn't have video on it so that they can see what it's like, because they don't set foot on it when they buy it.
So this is a guy, where was he buying from?
He is local in California. That's all I know at this point. Okay. But they make mention that they're not here in San Diego, so they don't have time to come down and see the property and set foot on it. But the video that we created was able to give him perspective of the property and the surrounding areas for him to entice him to write a full price offer. So you have to take into consideration, if you're marketing your property, there are all kinds of different buyers out there. Yep. And some of them are these all cash buyers that will buy it without setting foot. And he literally said it, I don't ever buy a property unless there's a video on it so that I can see what's going on. And what you did with the aerial shots is like nothing I've seen before, which is why we offered full price, which worked out for my sellers. I have numerous different instances where that comes to people's benefit. I have a new property coming up in Rancho Pacifica. This is a neighborhood where the home values are from $3 to $14 million.
Okay.
And we looked at all of the different properties that were on the market, and none of them really showed any aerial photography or videos. And this is a unique area where there are, bluffs and views and large lot
You said there's
sizes.
other properties. I just want to make sure I got that right. There's other properties that are listed
that are on the market
with no
videos.
See, I would feel like it doesn't. With the video footage, it actually would tell a better story about the property as well.
That's interesting that you say that.
It's an emotional buy.
That's interesting that you say a story, because selling a property, a unique property, many times does have a story behind it. I just went on an appointment today, Craig, where somebody called me. They have a multi-million-dollar property. It has been on the market. It hasn't sold, and so they're now looking to other resources or other agents. I met with this guy, and the first thing he did is he brought me in the property. He opened up an aerial diagram of his house and explained to me that this home was designed by an architect that won an award. There was a competition to design this house, and he was showing me how it was built into the home and how it had all these certain shapes and everything like that. And I said, well, have you marketed the property this way? Have you incorporated aerial views and told the story about how the architecture is built into the thing? And he said, no, that's what I want to have happen, and why, you know, what the story is behind this property.
When you get into that higher end price range, Kurt, don't appraisals almost get thrown out the window? Not appraisals, but maybe comps and trying to guess what values are, because when you start getting into 5, 6, maybe plus million, you could tell better than I can. It really seems like you kind of justify the value. It's not price per square foot, I guess is what I'm getting at, as much as it is the uniqueness of the home. I mean,
well, no,
that
actually, a lot of the
range?
homes that I sell are tract homes. You know, anywhere from 500,000 up to, you know, $1 million something. And so what you're trying to do is show how each tract home is a little bit different and may have a variance of price of 20,000, 40,000, 50,000 than the next door neighbor, because they're on a corner lot, or that they have a bigger lot size, or that their piece of property is on a canyon where the other one is backed up to a street. And these are all things that you can get from aerial videos and photography to convey that value to buyers.
You just made a really good point. I want to make sure our audience has a takeaway here. So I think my point was valid as well. When you get into these higher price range properties, there are more distinct aspects of the property. There's a lot more custom things put into it, a lot more money put into these things. But when you get in that 500 to 800,000, having the aerial views and doing that extensive video footage, I think it's going to help identify things that maybe the naked eye wouldn't really catch.
All you're doing is better identifying location, location, location.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, perfect. Well, a lot of times people think location, they might think Carmel Valley, which is obviously a great area.
Right.
Kurt is the guy there. He covers all of San Diego, but Carmel Valley is his market. He's the only agent that we will bring on out of that marketplace, and there's a reason for that. He just has a relentless work ethic, got a great team, does a lot of production, and he's very well respected, certainly by his sellers. If you want to learn more about Kurt, go to brokerkurt.com. You got a ton of videos on your website there that I've scrolled through, a lot of great information that people can learn, and if they want to connect with you, you got a contact form. Kurt, as always, good stuff, man.
Thanks for having me, Craig.
All right, appreciate it.